Ahoy there, all you jargonauts. Today I'm taking you on a trip through the murkier waters of the English language. Those fishy bits of professional jargon that pollute our linguistic seas.
During the day we use expressive terms usually on the radio, such as lockstat,
metadata,
workplace support coordinator,
taxonomy,
sitrep.
To me and my colleagues, they will make sense. To anyone outside, I think they'll find them baffling.
We're all awash on a tidal wave of gibberish, and frankly, it's time some of it walked the plank. Fiscal restraint, gobbledygook, synergy, what does that mean? Blue sky thinking, I think not. Facilitation, yeah, good riddance.
I've come ashore to meet language expert Professor David Crystal. He thinks that, used appropriately, jargon can work as a kind of professional shorthand.
There are two ways of looking at jargon. One is internally, from the point of view of the group to which the jargon belongs. And there it's immensely valuable. And instead of using 10 words, if I can use one which summarises those 10 words, that saves a lot of time, it might save a lot of money. Where jargon gets a bad press, and rightly so, is when people think that everybody else thinks like them. And they start spouting out the jargon to a general audience who hasn't the foggiest idea what they're talking about.
In the academic world that you live in, do you use jargon?
Well, jargon is an aspect of lexicography, don't you know? An aspect of lexicology. Don't you think it's a lexicological matter? Perhaps phonological issues to do with the orthography of the language. I've lost you, I've lost everybody, probably. But all my colleagues would know exactly what I meant.
Our word jargon dates back to the 14th century and the French word jargue, used to describe the grunting of pigs and the squawking of birds.
Chrissie Maher, founder of the Plain English campaign, believes that printed jargon is particularly confusing and sometimes deliberately misleading. Take this little gem from a local authority education document. Now, what on earth does this mean? High-quality learning environments are a necessary precondition for facilitation and enhancement of the ongoing learning process.
Wow, I think it just means that kids get a good education, they go to good school, don't you?
Oh, that's what it's about.
I think.
Why do people use jargon? Why do they avoid?
Always to hide behind things, always. They're always hiding inadequacy of some kind.
You've been campaigning for 40 years or so. Have you triumphed? What's the progress been?
The answer to that, Chad, honestly, is no. It's done a U-turn and gone worse. I've had an open admission from lawyers to say there's been so many successful claims because of plain English, we're going back to Latin and gobbledygook. That's why we need a law now in America, as you know. Obama now has cried out and said, we're going to make this illegal to put jargon in public information. That's what we should have had here. I see it as my rights to have plain English.
There are more than 1 million words in the English language. Astonishingly, around 80% of them relate to some form of technical jargon. Is there anything we can do to stop this proliferation of gobbledygook?
Yes, complain. I mean, after all, think of it from this point of view. I'm the person writing the piece. Unless you tell me I've written something that's not understandable, how am I going to know? And one of the reasons that this stuff is out there so much is that people did not give feedback in that way. It's not just politics, it's medicine, you know, the labels on medicine bottles that are not clear, there's the legal profession and so on. Unless ordinary people say, I do not understand you, how is anything going to change?
So, in the jargon of the high seas, let's get rid of all this gibberish and give it the final heave-ho. Heave-ho, my hearties, heave-ho.
Who's a pretty bird, then?